Hello, shenis Nation. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to my TCG event pre-show. So basically what this is coming up this weekend, I'll be going to another Pokemon TCG trading card game event. So basically a place where people are buying, selling, and trading Pokemon cards. And I will be there with my collection. And I have been prepping for it this past week and wanted to show everybody what all I got up to in that preparation. So let's get into it. So, first off, I just wanted to um, talk about uh, like which card show. One second. Oops. Back. Okay. So I wanted to talk about what card show I will be going to. So this is the North Bay Card Show this Saturday, May 30th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is going to be hosted in Roner Park, which is up here in Sonoma County. And this event is being put on by uh, God Pack, which is I guess a North Bay like card show event uh, host. So basically, as you can see on the top, we're looking at Pokemon, One Piece Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! Sports, etc., etc. So most importantly for us is going to be the Pokemon, of course, Pokemon TCG. And this is pulled directly from their Instagram. They are North Bay Card Show at North Bay Card Show on Instagram. All right, so in preparation for this card meetup, this trading event, there were a couple of things that I wanted to go over. So, first is, of course, series selection. So, if you remembered from my previous Pokemon TCG video, I had talked about how I had gone to a pop up event in the East Bay in Pinole, and for that card show, I had selected like sets of cards, the pop series is 1 through 9, the Radiant collections from 2013 and 2016. Um, the Southern Islands series, as well as Team Aqua versus Team Magma in the mid 2000s, as well as Double Crisis, which was another Team Aqua versus Team Magma set released in the 2010s, I believe. So this show we have a brand new selection of cards from my collection, as my collection is like five, six, seven binders long, and definitely not something I want to be carrying all of them with me. So we'll talk about what's in the trading binder, as well as what tradables I have set up to basically to offer. So those are in what I like to call faux slabs. Basically, just they are in the like clear hard plastic casings. Then I wanted to talk about a little bit about the trading principles that I use. So for me, the way that I prefer to move through these types of card events is like I try and spend as little money as possible. I kind of try to really shoot for either spending on average $1 a card or trading like one for one card to card. So basically, we are optimizing for that one to one ratio. Sometimes we're under it. It takes, multiple cards of mine to trade for a particular chase card. And sometimes, of course, I get quite lucky, and some of my cards are uh, you know, worth more such that I'm able to trade a single card of mine for multiple of the vendor's cards. Now, of course, we are going to minimize cash spending. And lastly, we are going to be utilizing a lot of duplicate trade tactics. So basically, what that means is I have started lists. I have a nice list of different cards that I have that either they are valuable, they are like high value cards, holofoils, legendaries, starters, evolutions, um, like the faux legendaries, think like Dragonite, Salamence, Garchomp, like Pikachu's, anything that's kind of like a fan favorite, those are going to be like high value cards. And so from there, we can sometimes trade on condition. Let's say the vendor has a heavily played card and my card is lightly played, moderately played. A tactic I can use to trade with some like credit and get other cards is to trade on condition. Another potential tactic is swapping our reverse holofoils. Now, in the series that I am bringing with me to this event, there are going to be a lot of the like reverse holofoil cards. And personally, I'm not a huge fan of reverse holofoil cards. Now, like I don't think they're terrible. I'm not looking to trade out like every single one that I own necessarily. But if there is, um, if the vendor does have, let's say, for example, I have a reverse holofoil Golduck, and I see that a vendor has a like a normal Golduck, not holofoil, not reverse holofoil, then I can offer to swap um, and basically swap my reverse holofoil for their non-holofoil and use the difference in credit to trade for other cards. Now, I did start making up a goal list for like some goal cards, chase cards, I guess you could call them. Basically, I have a like an in search of list, and I have quite a few cards that I'm going to be going for, and that we will get to in just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to start a little bit backwards. We are going to look at what I am planning on bringing with me to this event. So these are my like faux slab tradable cards. We have starting on the left hand side, first edition Jungle Bellsprout. So this is a duplicate that I had from my Jungle collection. And I checked today on TCG Player, and we are looking at about $4. So generally, a lot of places trade 70 to 80%, and so we're probably looking at closer to 3. Depending on the vendor, depending on what I'm trading for, sometimes they'll be a little bit more generous. Now, in the middle, we are looking at Friends in Paldea. I thought it was Palladia, but Friends in Paldea, full art, special illustration rare. And that one we are looking at about $2 in credit. Finally, this is going to be our big heavy hitter for the day, is Glaceon V-Star full illustrated rare, and this one's actually going for around $63 ungraded. The card itself is, I would say, probably in the near mint, very lightly played uh, like range. So we are going to be using that as our basically our biggest player. I do have a couple other rare kind of full art cards to that I could potentially like take with me as well. But I think that for now, these are going to be the majority of like what I'm going to be trading with. So lastly at the bottom, you can kind of see is this e-reader card bulk. So perhaps that's a little bit of a tip off of what I'm going to be trading, but uh, the trading binder for this card event is going to be the two rounds of e-reader series from 2002 to 2003. So that's going to be the end of Generation 2 and the beginning of Generation 3, as well as a combination of Wizards of the Coast Black Star promos and the Nintendo Black Star promos. So from Generation 2, we have in order Expedition, Aquapolis, and the I don't know if infamous is the right word, but very difficult to very rare to find Skyridge series. This one probably being one of the sets with the most expensive cards, even just like regular, common, non holofoil, basic, like damaged cards, because Skyridge at the end of Generation 2 had such a limited run. This one was is just quite a bit more expensive than its other Generation 2 counterparts. So then going into Generation 3, we have EX Ruby Sapphire, so that was the Generation 3 base set, EX Sandstorm, and EX Dragon. Now, technically, there is also one card from EX Team Aqua versus Team Magma versus Team Aqua. Um, since that set had this like interesting combination of both like primarily non e-reader cards as well as like a very small collection of like e-reader cards within that set. So that singular so within that subset of cards of EX Team Aqua versus Team Magma, I have about I think there's maybe like nine, and I have eight of those. So the last card on that list is going to be a chase card. Now, I am kind of restricting within the Black Star promos which ones I'll be looking for. So, for the Black Star promo cards for Wizards of the Coast, we are, of course, going to be looking for the e reader cards. In both the Wizards of the Coast Black Star promo, I think they had maybe three or so of those at the very end of their releases, and the first maybe like 20 or so of the Nintendo Black Star promos. So, uh, these are so kind of going back to our tradables. Our like faux slab tradables. We have first edition Bellsprout, Friends in Paldea, Glaceon V Star, as well as this just kind of bulk e-reader cards. You can see the ones from Generation 2 are going to have the yellow strip on the left side and the bottom, whereas in Generation 3, the e-reader cards, primarily the Pokemon cards, had a yellow stripe like exclusively at the bottom. Okay, so for now, we're going to go into the tradables list. And let me pull up. Let's see. Oops. We have EX Ruby Sapphire. Okay. One second. Let's see. Can I? Okay. All right, let's get back into it. All right, so we have our tradables list, and this I'm going to be like printing out, putting in the front of the binder. And basically, this is a list of cards that I already own that I'm going to use uh, kind of as leverage for different, like in order to trade, whether that's trading up, kind of trading out. I do have some notes. So, kind of to start, we do have from the expedition and equality. So, like, let's look at the expedition set, for example, these first two here. So, I've noted that like these cards from these beginning indices, I'm going to be actually these are reverse holofoil, not regular holofoil, but we are looking to swap from the reverse holofoil to the regular holofoil. And just something kind of interesting about these card sets is like, as we kind of know from these vintage sets, the like first couple of like the first generally like 15, 20 ish cards are going to be the holofoil rares, followed by the like non holofoil rares, then going into uncommon, common trainers, and energy. Generally, that's not entirely true for all of the e-reader cards, but that's generally how this pattern follows. So now, like, that's just, oh, sorry. There we go. We were actually on tradables. We were on my ISO in search of. But okay, let's go back to this set. So we have, again, we have a note about our reverse holofoil Butterfree, our reverse holofoil Kingler, and these we are trying to trade up to holofoil. I have listed the conditions as well, ranging from lightly played, very lightly played, up to kind of damaged. A lot of these cards are going to be in the moderately played, heavily played, damaged range, since these are cards that I have had for basically since I began collecting Pokemon cards. I think we're at about 2 decades of card collection at this point. I also did make a point to put any holofoils I got, even cards that are damaged. Um, I wanted to make sure that I included them in this listing, just kind of as a point of reference. Um, but it's going to be unlikely that these are going to be tradable just due to the nature of the cards. But, there's definitely more damaged cards out there, so it's really just going to depend on what the different booths have to offer, what cards the different what cards are available, every what the different vendors have. So I also wanted to highlight what I call like high value cards. So I had kind of mentioned this in the beginning, where generally a particularly high value card, ones that kind of buck the trend of kind of other Pokemon cards in kind of their similar range, like other holofoil cards, is going to sort of follow along a particular channel often. So generally what you're looking at with these like extra high value cards, we're looking at starters, we're looking at fan favorites, like so in addition to starters, anything like Charizard, Pikachu, definitely any of the evolutions run are going to be high value. Generally, any of the legendaries. So if we're kind of looking at from the Expedition series, I do have a like mildly damaged, I would say maybe like damaged, possibly even just like heavily played Mew holofoil. And despite the kind of low quality, I would say, of the card, like these cards will still tend to net pretty high, pretty high value. So even going into like, uh, you know, looking at like double digits, I can kind of make a sort of comparison if we look at the right hand of the screen. So this is actually EX Ruby Sapphire. So not Expedition, but I do want to kind of give a little bit of kind of an example of these sort of higher value cards. So if we look down here at the Gardevoir, we can see that this damaged card, so this card is damaged. You can see from the like visible creases, and even as a damaged card, we were still looking at about $10. Now, this one I had traded for a reverse hol ah, reverse hollow foil Gardevoir for this card. I think along with some other cards. And this is a card that I've had in my collection. I think when I traded for this, it was maybe, it's been like 2, maybe even 3 years. And, the price of Pokemon cards has only gone up. So this is just kind of one example of these kind of like high value cards. You would see like a Gardevoir going for far more than like a Pelipper or a Swellow, um, in kind of the universe that these were also holofoil, just because these aren't generally as popular of Pokemon. Okay, let's see. Now, we have a couple of things in the rest of Expedition, some reverse holofoils to trade out, a one including a pretty damaged reverse holofoil Venusaur. It's going to be unlikely that that's going to be worth necessarily anything in trade, but it's possible. It is a starter, so just kind of something to keep in mind. Now, let's kind of move down to Aquapolis. I do have for this uh, two pretty high value cards, and that's going to be my Holofoil Umbreon, lightly played. Again, people love the evolutions. Everyone flips for the evolutions. It's Espeon is one of my favorite Pokemon, so I get it. Very glad to have this one, as well as a moderately played Holofoil Suicune. Now, something kind of interesting about both Aquapolis and I believe Skyridge is, unlike Expedition, unlike even the previous Generation 1 and 2 cards, where their set lists followed the format of holofoil, holofoil rare, non holofoil rare, uncommon, common, trainer, then energy. These actually separated out their uh, their holofoil cards into this like subset with like an indice with an index that included the letter H. So all of their holofoils are actually part of this like subset of like H whatever out of H32, meaning there's 32 holofoil cards in this set. And the 147 in this set actually does not reflect the 32 holofoil cards. So something kind of interesting. Now, of course, these are going to be my two high value cards, and just something kind of fun to note with one of my chase cards for this upcoming event. I made a note here that I actually realized I had both Victory Bell and Weeping Bell as reverse holofoil cards. So something I'm actually going to be looking for is specifically a holofoil Bellsprout in order to kind of complete this little trilogy as like three stages, all holofoil, all reverse holofoil. My bad. So just something kind of fun. Now, another kind of one of my like I'll talk about this a little bit more when we go into the like chase cards, my chase cards for this event. But Aquapolis has this pretty interesting set of cards called like energy cubes, I'll call them kind of generally, which is, the six, seven, eight different, I think there were eight different energy types. Like, so it's that energy type cube. And there's one for each energy type, fire and fire cube, electric cube, water cube, grass cube, dark cube, metal cube, and of course psychic cube. So this one is a cool reverse holofoil that I have very lightly played. So this one I'm going to try and see what I can sort of flip for this, and see if I can pick up some good credit like on this as well. Now, this one here, this next one is the Skyridge seal. And you know what? I actually have my Skyridge collection I can show. Let me move that over. Here we go. And Skyridge is, I would say, the collection that I have the absolute fewest of in this series. Um, like of the e-reader cards, just because this one had a super super limited run and was just had really minimal production. And so basically every single card from this series is like, regardless, it's if it's a trainer, if it's a common, doesn't matter. It's going to be like in kind of the range of minimum like $6, which is definitely kind of on the higher end for a lot of these older cards, especially more of the common cards where you can generally find them in the $1 to $2 range. Now, the what I do have from this set is this reverse holofoil seal. And the reason that this is kind of highlighted in green, we can see it right here. One of the cool things about the reverse holofoil is it also has these like marks along the left and bottom like stripes. Those are kind of cool. I think it just kind of adds something to the cards. And because this is Skyridge, this is going to be a basically just a major player in terms of like trading on like holofoil status, reverse holofoil status. So if I can find a table that, let's say I see that they have just like a regular seal, we can kind of see, oh, you know what? I do see a little bit of creasing. I'm not sure if that's the card. I think well, I did call it lightly played. So even at light, even kind of in this condition, that's going to be kind of a cool thing to sort of flip. I will also point out that we do have this Pikachu by Yukamori here. It's in decent condition. Uh, I will say, because it is a Pikachu, I think I'm actually going to add it to my list as well. Uh, going to be a little bit harder to kind of trade because we are exclusively trading on condition here, but it is Skyridge. So Pikachu, it's not holofoil or reverse holofoil. What's our index here? This is 84 out of 144. And I'm actually not sure of the condition right at the moment. I am going to mark this as it is Skyridge. It is also Yukamori, as well as like fan favorite. Now, this is going to be a little bit harder, as I said, to kind of trade up because it isn't a reverse holofoil. I would really be trading strictly on condition, so that will make it a little bit more difficult. But I do think it's something to kind of at least have on my list to even kind of like be able to go through. I didn't really do any type of organizing of these cards, but just because like I don't have that many. I have less than 18. So I have just 15. And looking at this Oracle card here, we can kind of get a sense of where the Pokemon card prices are. So I picked this up recently on trade credit. So at like earlier this month, this card was valued at around $18. Now, I was able to look at the like sticker underneath it that was from last year's valuation. And even just 1 year ago, we were looking at a card price of around $8. So this has grown more than 100% in value. So just kind of something to look at, something to think about when looking at these like Skyridge cards. TCG, what is it called? TCG player. We're going to look at, are they the ones that I'm thinking of? Let's look at Oracle. What index number is this? Oh no, it's covered. Oracle 138. Here we go. Do they not have the chart? Okay, it's not this one. Maybe it is TCG player. That actually has like a nice graph. Here we go. So we are around here. Let's look at our 1 year, because the ticket that I was looking at, the price point for this about a year ago was this is $9. I saw about $8, but uh, I'll say that's more or less similar. Now we are up here that this one is averaging about like 15, 16. So it's really just about doubled. And this is for moderately played. And the one that I have is heavily played. So, like, we're really looking at a lot of this, like, huge spike in card valuation in the last, like, couple, and, like, even in the last year. All right, so those are my tradables. And now we can go through the EX, moving on from Skyridge to EX Ruby Sapphire. Now, these ones we have, let me point some of them out. I'll actually go through the right. I did reorganize these cards generally. I organized my series based on. I like to organize my series based on. Shoot, what is it called? Based off of the card, the based off of the card index number. Um, but I wanted to do something maybe a little bit more decorative, let's say, and organize them in this like pseudo Pokedex order. So basically, the way that this will work is we have the like starting because this is generation 3, we're going to start with the generation 3 Pokedex. So starting with the Trico evolution. So this line is actually going to have a total of 6 cards. Two each of Trico, two each of Grovyle, and both a holofoil and a non holofoil Sceptile. So this top right slot is actually reserved for the eventual holofoil Sceptile that I would like to get. Then I wanted to just kind of like add in some other decorative cards, so I included this Energy Switch Trainer card, which actually has a Trico in it with a Grass Energy. Just something kind of cool. Next, as we move down, we'll see getting into again, there's 2 Torchics, 2 Combustions, as well as a holofoil and a reverse holofoil Blaziken. Not that I have either of those. And here we have a Fire Energy as well as Energy Search with a little Fire Energy emblem in it. Now, this next page with the Mudkip line, this one's kind of interesting. I have a kind of interesting set of cards here. So, we do have one of my kind of like tradable cards. That's this reverse holofoil Marshtomp in the center. This one is going to be right here, lightly played. This is a starter. Um, it is a middle evolution. I feel like people don't tend to like those as much. Uh, but, we're going to try and potentially swap that out for some other cards. I included Energy Reversal because it does also have a Mudkip in it. However, what I do want to point out on the bottom row, now this is from one of the World Championship decks. So, for those of you that are kind of unfamiliar, what happens is that during the Pokemon TCG World Championships, whoever wins, they do, or at least they did. I'm not sure if they still do. I haven't looked at them recently, but essentially for the like winners of the World Championships for a while, Pokemon the TCG company would put out a like a specific deck of like a promotional deck that had cards that were in the winner's deck and have the winner's signature in the bottom right corner of the image. So we kind of have over here a full set from that World Championships with the Mudkip, Marshtomp, and Swampert line. So I am kind of like on the fence about whether or not I want to like keep this set of 3 or use it for trade. I might like I think if I were to trade them out, I'd probably want to trade it out as a set because like I don't know what the point really would be in trading out like just one of them. But at the same time, like it is really cute to have kind of all 3 of these here. You can see which ones, which kind of Mudkip I'm missing, which of the Swamperts I'm missing, and let's see if the scanner did not quite get the index number, but the cards from the World Championships did, they do reflect the original, like, like, the indices of the original, like, decks. Okay, this really, so much to fill up on this page. All right, then moving on to the next page, we have the Poochyena line, and this Mightyena is again one of our kind of tradable cards. This is Holofoil, the Cosmic Holo. Look at how gorgeous that is. Very beautiful, and you can kind of see there's not much damage to this card, so this one that I could potentially trade. This one is very lightly played, would happily take a more damaged copy for some like trade credit. Whereas this Puchiena, this reverse holofoil, we can see just how kind of damaged and fucked up it is. We see quite a few different creases throughout the card. But I like to say that that just gives it personality. I think it makes it a little bit more fun. And so these are generally kind of the tier that I am looking in for trading is like if a vendor has something kind of in that nature that I have a much better copy, I am happy to trade. So, Mighty Yenna's on our list. Oh, this is the World Championships 2004 for that Mudkip line. All right, let me take a quick break. I am getting a phone call. I'll be right back. Hello? Hello? Okay, we are back. All right, so let's keep going. We got the Wurmple line, that's going to evolve into Silcoon and Cascoon, then Dust Toxin, Beautifly, both the final evolutions being holofoil exclusive, Talo and Swellow, Wingull and Pelipper, then the Gardevoir line that I kind of mentioned earlier, and with our like damaged uh, holofoil Gardevoir. Possibly something if there's a more heavily damaged Gardevoir that could be traded for, that's completely possible. That I would be open to, but I would say it's kind of unlikely. Now we're going through the Shroomish and Breloom, Makuhita line, as well as some Hariyama. I have been scrolling and trolling through eBay, looking for Pokemon cards and generally trying to keep it at $1 and some change. And I do actually have a copy of one of the Hariyama cards on its way. Nose Pass. Now we do have this Slackoth here. This one is reverse holofoil. I'm not sure if this is would really be considered because of this creasing on the edge. I don't know if that would be moderately played, even into the maybe heavily played. I'm gonna say it's actually heavily played. Uh, like that might be that's kind of in the moderately played, heavily played range, but it is reverse holofoil, so something we could potentially trade out for, especially because the Vigoroth that I do have is also non holofoil. Now, moving down, we have the Skitty Delcatty line. So, Skitty actually is like one of, I believe, there's actually three Skitty cards in this. It's either two or three. Um, in this set, which is why it's kind of so blank here. Then I do have the majority of the Delcatty cards, including this heavily played reverse holofoil one that I picked up from Gateway Games. And isn't she just beautiful? Generally, I wouldn't have gone for the reverse holofoil, uh, but I do really like this line. I think that I think that the Pokemon are just so cute. So that I wanted to get as well. All right, so we have our Aerons here. I did actually pick up a new I did actually pick up a copy of the last remaining Aeron that I was missing, as well as one of the Lairon middle evolutions. But if we look here, at this Aggron, so this gorgeous holofoil. This one, I made a note. I said it was moderately played. Mostly, if you kind of look on the back, which not going to be able to. This, especially because this section is like double sleeve, so there's a card on the front and back. But that's going to be on our list of potential tradables. So happy to trade on condition there. Moving on to Electrike, I do have the final Electrike. There were three in this series coming in from eBay. Then we have Carvana and Sharpedo. I love Sharpedo, by the way. I'm less of a fan of Carvana, but I do think Sharpedo is just like a fucking excellent Pokemon. I just think they're so cool. So another, you know what? I need to update this because it is not the dark energy that was traded out, but rather I had um, a reverse holofoil, oh, shift 5, there we go. A reverse holofoil fighting energy, which I had actually already had the non-holofoil version, and that had been traded out. So let me update this. So this one we are going to, similar to our fire energy, I do want to trade from reverse holofoil to non-holofoil. So we'll keep that one in mind. Kind of scrolling down, we do have this really gorgeous whale. Ooh, beautiful Wailord. I, again, like Sharpedo, I fucking love Wailord. It's just a giant whale. And it's like, it's also really funny to kind of see in any Pokemon game that actually does kind of the, like, sizing accurately. So that's kind of funny because the Wailord is just fucking gigantic. You can notice that in, like, Pokemon Snap, um, any of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games. It is a absolute beast. But gorgeous card, art by Ken Sugimori, who is one of the like original like one of the like base set artists. So he's been around for quite some time with this absolutely gorgeous holofoil. And this one, I said this Wailord, very lightly played, similar to the Mightyena. So this one, if we can find some like damaged copies, then we will be in good shape for trading. Also, on this Seeking, I actually do have the Goldeen coming in off of eBay as well. Lastly, in this generation, we have in this card series even we have this reverse holofoil Fanpy. This one's going to be lightly played. I think this kind of mark right here is actually just from the like card sleeve itself. So something to potentially trade out as well. Hmm. Now that I'm something I am thinking about is, oh yeah, these are all Gen 2. So the way that I kind of put this series in terms of organization is Gen 3, Gen 3, Gen 3, then Gen not Gen 3, Gen then we get into generations 1 and 2. So Whalmer, uh, wait, are Whalmer and Whale Lord Gen 2? Those actually might be Gen 3. Fanpy is definitely Generation 2. Seeking and Coughing Wheezing, Generation 1. So that might need to be reorganized, but we'll kind of keep it for now. All right, so now let's get into some of the EX Sandstorm tradables. I'm going to put this down, take this out. Oh, good. So this is EX Sandstorm, and we're starting off with the Zigzagoon and Linoon line. I'm actually glad that I am looking at this right now because I had been haggling with an eBay seller over this Linoon card. So I'm glad they actually rejected my offer because I did not have, I actually already had it. So, no need. Now, moving down into this kind of this section past the Lotad and the Lombre, we have our one of our first reverse holofoils. So this is going to be Nuzleaf. And I called this one, what did I say? I said that this Nuzleaf was between lightly played and moderately played. It is kind of the only one in this series, in this evolutionary line that I have as this reverse holofoil. So just kind of something to kind of look for in terms of like things to trade up and out. Now, I do also accidentally have two copies of the non-holofoil shift tree coming in. Uh, I had had two different offers on shift trees accepted at once. So generally, what I'll kind of do is I'll pick whichever one is in the worst condition, keep it, and then try and trade out the other one. So that's not too bad. Uh, but yeah, not that. Okay, so that's on our tradables list. Excellent. Okay, moving on, we have Wingull and Pelipper. Is this Let me double check. Is this Pelipper? Okay, the Pelipper is reverse holofoil, but it is fairly damaged. You can see creases kind of all along here, along the sides, just mega creasing. And so this is going to be, I would consider it damaged. So I'm likely not really going to be looking to trade on this one just because of the quality. I would need to find like a much worse off copy. And then let's keep it moving. Here's kind of another example of how my kind of pseudo, like my, yeah, I call it kind of like a pseudo Pokedex because the Azurill and is Azum is Azumarill also Gen 1, sorry, Gen 3. I know at least the Azurill is. So we have this like Azurill from Gen 3, Marill, and maybe Azumarill from Gen 2, but for kind of the sake of this like visual effect where I try to keep these cards just like in like an evolutionary line together, like despite kind of the difference in generations, I did display them all together, which I do think is pretty fun. Now over here we have this reverse holofoil Skitty. I would say this one may be a fan favorite. You can kind of see a little bit of like, I don't want to necessarily say damage exactly. I would consider this one I have on my list. We have here. So this skitty, I would call it lightly played, and this one might be of kind of like higher value. Oh, you know what? This is the one that I actually traded out. So hold on. Let me finish my thoughts on this skitty first. Okay, so we have this skitty. I think this might also be kind of a fan favorite. Definitely not to the same extent that like any of the evolutions are fan favorites, but like potentially also this one as well. Okay, so let me zoom out. And before I keep scrolling, I do want to go kind of back to this list. And this here, I've highlighted the reverse holofoil fighting energy from EX Ruby Sapphire. I had mentioned that the that this one I had actually already traded out. So what I'm going to do is we're going to highlight this in red and strike through because this no longer a duplicate. This has already been traded out. Oops, that's traded out. Excellent. Okay, now uh, back to EX Sandstorm. I have this reverse holofoil Aeron, which is even marked at lightly played. This is the price that it was like traded for. I generally don't buy cards in the double digits. I try and keep it to a couple dollars a card as much as I can. This Volbeat and Illumise, these are kind of interesting because there was definitely at one point, I think, maybe at a card show last year, where I did that kind of trade from reverse holofoil to non holofoil because one of these from my original collection, I believe, was holofoil. Yeah, perfect here. So this was 625.25. We swapped out the original collection reverse holofoil Illumise for that non-holofoil version. Glad I kept that notation. I do like to kind of on the card sleeves, I like to write just kind of little notes about the trades. I like to keep any of the tags from various vendors with the prices on them. I just think it's kind of fun to see. Now we have this reverse holofoil Zangoose. This one lightly played. Very beautiful. Just so cute. Now, if we look at the index on this one, we can see 14 out of 100. And like I had mentioned earlier in this stream, for definitely this series, uh, in EX Sandstorm, we actually see that the series index, like the series list, is going to have the first, I would say, I don't know, about 20 cards be holofoil rares. So generally, this Zangoose would have been a regular holofoil rare, but instead the copy that I have is reverse holofoil. Now, I guess kind of my question is let's look up what the difference in price is between if we do Zangoose 14 out of 100 versus Zangoose 14 out of 100 reverse holofoil. Okay, let's look at prices. So, ungraded, we're looking at about $32. And let's see, holo rare. Let's see if they have the reverse holofoil. Let's use the same website. More photos. Zangoose 14. I do want to see what the listing price is for the reverse holo because generally, I'm not entirely sure which ones are considered more valuable. From some lists that I was seeing on like no listings available. That's unfortunate. This is a hollow rare. A damaged reverse hollow foil is about 10. Let's see. We'll look up on eBay. eBay, Zangoose, 14, reverse, holofoil. Just to kind of get an idea of what this kind of trade may look like. All right. That is not reverse holofoil. That is regular holofoil. We're doing some investigating. Okay, here we go. Wait. Not reverse holofoil. Oh my goodness. Let's do Zangoose 14 reverse holofoil. Let's see what we can find. All right, so we're looking at, if we're looking at here, let's take this one for example. Wow. Okay, so looking at some of these reverse hollows, we are kind of looking in, I would say maybe, let's average this out to maybe the like $20 to $30 range, some under, some over. I would say because this is very lightly played, we'll probably get it at kind of the higher range versus the regular holofoils. They are going at an average kind of ungraded 32. These are kind of interesting. Um, I'm really not one for slabs. I really do not care for them. But, you know, I think this one should be interesting. Like, I've seen on some infographics in at least kind of like some of the later series that sometimes the reverse holofoil can be more valuable than the regular holofoil, but it seems like it really depends. So that'll be kind of like a nice heavy hitter. Zangoose being fairly uncommon. It is a rare card, and I mean rare in the sense that, like, if you look down here, there is a black star indicating that it is a, like, rare card. All right. Let's move on forward. So here we have, I actually really like the way that this page is set up. So, okay. Let me see. Scooch in just a bit more. So we have two different fossil Pokemon. We have our Cradily evolutionary line and our Armaldo evolutionary line. Now, Lileep is from the root fossil, whereas Cradily is from the claw fossil that you can kind of see here. Now, I did put both the Cradily and the Armaldo um, on this list, the Cradley being pretty heavily played, and you would see it more kind of on the back. This Armaldo, this one I actually did do, like this one I would consider damaged. You can see that it's kind of peeling, there are some scratches, and this one I believe is also one that I actually traded for a lower, I traded for like a lower like a worse condition from my original collection. I've had these cards for quite some time. So I think it's just kind of cute. the way that this is set up, I believe there is one more each of the Lilip and the Anorith cards that I am still missing. And so it's just kind of like a cute little like page setup with the different kind of like evolutionary fossil Pokemon from this series or from this generation. We're in Gen 3. Kecleon, Duskull, why not? I am leaving some empty space here for the Wobbuffet as well, despite that being Generation 1. Moving on down, we have some empty space. We have Pichu for Pikachu and Raichu as well. And moving on down again, I had mentioned this card before, so this is my reverse holofoil Golduck, and this one I have as condition very lightly played. So definitely a good thing to go over and go through. So we'll likely get some good return on that one. Now this is 17 out of 100. So this one we also might be looking to trade reverse holofoil to holofoil actually. Just because that super low index number, well, you know what, hold on. Within the index numbers, within each category, holofoil, non-holo, holofoil rare, non-holofoil rare, they are going to be organized alphabetically. So we know that Zangoose is we are trying to trade up to a holofoil copy. Uh, Z being at the end of the alphabet, naturally, that would be kind of the end of the holofoil rares. So, despite this being kind of within the top 20, Golduck would then be pushed down to the non holofoils. So, this copy was actually like with this index number, never going to be um, holofoil. So let me actually take that. I'm going to retract that part. But very lightly played condition, so definitely a good kind of trade up option. Moving down through more of the cards, this one we also get into the Generation 2 starters. Sorry, yes, Generation 2 starters, Cyndaquil, I believe also Chikorita um and oh, what is the last one? It's not Mudkip. Shoot. Totodile. There we go. I got it. Don't have any of those. Uh okay. I'm actually going to scroll back up to this section right here. So these ones are a combination kind of Generation 1 and 2 cards. So I am looking for a Onyx to go with my Steelix, an Elekid to go with my Electabuzz, and then Growlithe and Arcanine. I kind of like this sort of vertical filing method because it just gives kind of it's a good way to file 6 cards in only 2 rows and kind of optimize the space there, as opposed to doing it across like 2 cards each in 3 rows with lots of kind of empty space. Now, as we go down, we have some of the evolutions, and this Espeon right here, this one is actually this was my very first ever rare card. I don't know, I don't remember if I opened this set or what, but I have a very distinct memory of having it pointed out as like this is like a rare card, the with the like little black star in the corner. And so because of that, Espeon is one of my favorite Pokemon. This is one of my like very original cards, and I love it so much. So that's definitely like not for trade, not for sale, etc., etc. All right, Dunsparce, Natu, and Xatu. And this page is kind of cool because This we have Mysterious Fossil from Generation 1, which actually evolves into either Ammonite or Kabuto. Is it or Aerodactyl as well? I believe so. Now, with these ones, I believe there's Kabuto EX instead of just a regular Kabuto. Like we have this Amistar. Um, I don't remember there being an Amistar EX, but we can kind of go through the TCG collector list to kind of just look for what I have. This Ammonite, this moderately played one, picked up for $3 at the time. Uh, this one is potentially something worth something worth trading out. Uh, you know, not uncommon to find a heavily played or damaged condition, though the price point has certainly gone up since we last looked at it. I do kind of want to look at that real quick. So, Ammonite. Uh, what is the index number on these? 70 out of 100. Ammonite, 70 out of 100. And I do want to check the TCG player listing just to see the 1 year valuation graph. Yeah, we can kind of see how towards the end, and this is going to be reverse holofoil as well, so that'll increase the price. So we went from under $1 to about $1, and so I would expect to see this one probably going for about double as well if these kinds of Pokemon trends hold. Okay. So, excellent. Our last series that I am going for that I have in my trade binder at the moment is going to be EX Dragon. The symbol for that one is this little crosshair. And this one starts off with the Generation 3 uh, first and second stages. They're not like stage 1 or stage 2. The basic and the stage 1 Pokemon. I do have this other reverse holofoil Marshtomp. I just tend to have a lot of those apparently. So that's going to be something to potentially trade out. I would call it lightly played. There is some damage to the back, but that's not really going to be something that you really see in these binders. We have the Nincada. I think there is one more Nincada card, as well as the Holofoil Shedinja. I am missing quite a few in here. We have the Numel and Camerupt line. I believe I do have another Numel card coming. A reverse holofoil Spoink. The front looks pretty good. The back is pretty rough, so I think I'm actually going to change this from heavily played to moderately played, just because most of the damage is on the back. So, something to potentially do. This one is interesting. The Trapinch line has something like there are 3 Trapinch cards, 3 Vibrava cards, and I believe both a holofoil and a non-holofoil Flygon. So, you know, fingers crossed I'll be able to fill this out a little bit more and get it to a really cool, full page. All right. So those are the cards, the majority of the card series. The last one that I want to show is these. These are the Black Star promo cards from Wizards of the Coast. This one's Wizards of the Coast, and it's index number 52. And these Nintendo Black Star promos that go from like 1 to 19. Something that is really difficult to see in the scan, but this Wishmer Black Star promo that I have, these kind of lines at the bottom, they're not damaged, they're actually crimping. So this card that I have is even more unique in the fact that the bottom has like a crimping error. So what that would mean is when this card was put in the pack of Pokemon cards, uh, or whatever, and the way that they kind of crimped it at the bottom to seal it, actually got on the card accidentally. It doesn't show up super well on scan, but it is kind of just like a cool visual trick. So, as I mentioned, there are, I believe, three of these e-reader Wizards of the Coast promos, and then it moves over to Nintendo. And this is kind of an interesting one. So, this Trico is also on my tradables list because as you can see, so this is index number 16, whereas the ones above it, the Latios, and the Wishmer, these are 14, 15, and 19, which should mean that this Trico actually should have this e-reader at the bottom. I don't know why it doesn't. I really don't understand why some cards had e-reader edges while other ones didn't. That's always kind of confused me. And so, definitely something that I will be looking to trade up is this Trico from the non e-reader to the e-reader version. So, that's kind of something cool that I will be looking for. So, these are my expanded tradables list. So, let's just kind of remember we have a combination. We have a combination of all of these potential kind of tradable cards as well as. Hello. Can I scooch you in? Okay, perfect. As well as these tradables as well. We have our slabs, the first edition Bellsprout, full art Friends in Paldea, as well as the Glaceon V Star, V Star, not V Max. The V Max is a different card, and our E-reader bulk. So this will give us just a bunch of different options of things to use towards trading credit, in order to really minimize the amount of cards, in order to really just kind of minimize the amount of cash or, whatever else. Uh, yeah, like the amount that I'm paying towards these cards. So now, kind of the last thing is what am I actually looking for? And for this, I'm going to bring up my TCG collector list, the sets in my collection, and we're going to start with Expedition. So, for any of these card series, of course, I would love to get any of the holofoil cards. That's, kind of a given. Uh, that would be great. But, uh, I think in addition to those, each set kind of has specific chase cards. So we can see here, with the Expedition set, I do have a 5 out of 165 reverse holofoil, so I am trying to chase this Butterfree, the 5 out of 165, the holofoil version, as well as the 15 out of 165 holofoil Kingler. Any of the holofoil cards would be great. Love these. I would love to get the Poliwrath because this entire evolutionary line is all done by Yukimori in this set. So anything from that line would be fantastic. Uh, let's see. Now, the ones that I do have, something that we didn't really go over, because you weren't able to see it, I do have this Holofoil Doug Trio, Holofoil Mew. My copy is damaged. It is quite an old card. I've had it for quite some time, and like this is definitely one of the like higher value cards, so something I can definitely keep in my pocket for trading or like trading up on condition. Now, once we go into the non-holofoils, I do have the full Alakazam line. I am chasing, actually, I should add to this that I am actually chasing the Ekans from this series just because it is, something about the artwork is really cool. So let me, hold on, I don't like where I put that. So this is Expedition, Ekans, neither holofoil nor reverse holofoil. See if I can find it. Bulb of Soars. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Here we go. I would absolutely love to have this Ekin, so it's 108 out of 165. Who is the artist on this? Kyoko Umemoto. Something about the card art, it just really does it for me. I would absolutely love this card, so let me go ahead and 165. Note, great artwork. So, per kind of the counter, this I have less than 50% of the cards. That sounds about right. Not very many of the holofoil. Goes up to 32 out of 165. Then I just kind of have select cards. Meganium. I would love to get this Poliwrath, as you can see, the really cool Yukimori art. She is kind of like the claymation artist. Got that Raichu. A very damaged reverse holofoil Venusaur. And then for some of the more like uncommon cards, I tend to have a couple of these. Interestingly enough, so this Pupitar art by Yuki Kaboba is actually reused in one of my all-time favorite series, the EX Dragon Frontiers. I very distinctly remember this card from the Larvitar line, and it is part of the Delta species. It is one of the it is one of the card series with the most Delta species cards, though I believe the Pupitar card is one of the very few that are not that Delta species kind of swapped typing. This one is so cute. But where some of this variation in price comes from is kind of beyond me. Like why is this one $40 even though it is common? Is it the artist? Tomokazu Komiya does this one. I really have no idea. So just kind of looking at, these are ones that I have. As we get more towards the rest of the commons, tend to have quite a few of those. I did get this one recently. This Shelder is the one that I have my reverse holofoil. This really dorky looking Yukamori Squirtle would love to have. And this really derpy looking Yukamori Vulpix. Now, of the trainer cards, I do really like the trainer cards. And I do believe I have a couple, at least one. I have this Master Ball coming from eBay. So we'll go ahead and we'll be looking for these as well. But my biggest chase cards from this series are going to be the Holofoil Butterfree, and Holofoil Kingler, at least at this time because I already have the reverse holofoil versions. All right, let's go on to the next set. Is there a way to do that? Just in here, go to the bottom. I do also have, I did recently pick up the Darkness Energy, and I did have all of the common energies as well. So just need that Metal Energy. All right, now Aquapolis. So Aquapolis, do I have any of the holofoil cards? I don't think I do. So, oh, that's not true. I have both Suicune and Umbreon. So, both relatively high value cards. As you can see, the Umbreon is going to be one of the biggest heavy hitters. You know, as I kind of mentioned at the beginning, when you're looking at Pokemon card values, there are certain things that will really boost a particular Pokemon's value that are just kind of like fan based. You can see that a lot of these are generally in the 1 to 200 range, with a couple kind of outliers. You can see the Entei being one of the legendaries is going to be up there. No one really likes Hypno, so it's kind of lower. Um, I'm surprised that this Lantern is one of the lowest, considering it is Yukamori artwork, since it is a fan favorite. But as we kind of scroll through, we see that like Tyranitar being a fan favorite, being a pseudo legendary, that's going to come in at around 500 versus like Tentacruel, which is in the $100 range, whereas Suicune, a legendary Pokemon, is going to be in that like 450. Then Umbreon, of course, being an evolution, like everyone goes nuts for them, we're looking in the $1,200 range. So that's definitely going to be one of my like more valuable cards to trade up and out, or I guess trade down and out in terms of condition. I did see this. Oh, actually, this is holofoil Zapdos. I saw a non-holofoil Zapdos. Interesting. So it's not necessarily always a obvious kind of direct correlation. Like Suicune, I guess, is a uh, more popular legendary than Zapdos, so that kind of reflects in the price. But I would say if you're looking for older cards, or really cards in general, just kind of knowing which ones are fan favorites, that's going to be kind of important in terms of like knowing or understanding some of the variation in like card pricings and card values. Okay, so now we get into other cards that I have: the Aridos, the Evolution, Blossom, Executor, which actually does have, interestingly enough, both a grass and a psychic version, as well as the Execute is also going to come in grass and psychic. Would love to get this Espeon card. Espeon's one of my favorites. In addition to Espeon, my other favorites are Milotic, which is Gen 4, and Frostlass, also Gen 4. But we are not quite there for like our the cards that I'm collecting. Nothing to see here. Tentacruel, would love to get the non holofoil copies of both the Suicune and the Umbreon. I believe I saw this Zapdos heavily played recently for around like 30, 35 at a card shop, so that I might consider picking up. Okay, so, like, I did want to kind of point out from my chase cards for this, we have Golduck, and the index number is 50A, 50B. So, what that means is in this series, for whatever reason, there is, I believe, four cards, four Pokemon that come in both an A and B version. Now, from my research, uh, these A and B cards, so it's the ones that have this variation. It's Golduck, Drowsy, Mr. Mime, and Porygon. And of those four, the Mr. Mime A and B cards are the only ones that show that have any visible differentiation. Now, the like purpose of the differentiation is actually going to be reflected in the like it's going to be reflected in kind of like apparently like what mini games are available when these cards are scanned, and like that's really what like the e-readers are for. There was some Pokemon game, some system or whatever, where you could scan these cards in, and that's what these kind of like strips would do. Is they just have like different encodings. So like the A and B cards that I'll be chasing, we have Golduck 50A 50B. We'll have Drowsy. I have 74A, so I'm looking for 74B. I do actually have this Psychic Execute coming, so I would like to get kind of the corresponding Executor as well. And scooching down. Okay, so this is the Mr. Mime 95A that I'll be looking for. Already have the 95B. And the Porygon 103A, 103B cards. So I'll be looking for both of those as well. So that's kind of this chunk of my search list. Now, another couple of cards that I will be chasing from this series is this Yukamori Skiploom, because I have both the final evolution, the it's Hoppip, Skiploom. Why do I think Butterfree? That's not correct. Jumpluff. There we go. I do have uh, the non-holofoil Jumpluff. Is there a holofoil Jumpluff? There is no. Oh yeah, there is. And all three card art for the evolutionary line is done by Yukamori, who's one of my favorite card artists. And I have the basic and the stage 2 evolution, so I would really like the stage 1 evolution as well. So I'll be looking for the Skiploom, as well as Scoochin. Oh, where'd it go? I will be looking for a reverse holofoil Bellsprout, and specifically reverse holofoil because, as I kind of mentioned previously, I actually have both the Victory Bell and the uh, Weeping Bell as reverse holofoil cards, so I think it would just be kind of cool to sort of like complete that evolutionary line with reverse holofoil as well. Okay, so now there is kind of one more set that I will be one more kind of group of chase cards that I will be searching for, and that is these like cubes. They're the technical machine cubes. So we have like darkness cube. I already have fighting cube, fire cube, grass cube, metal cube, psychic cube, water cube. I don't know what it is about them. I just think that conceptually they are just so funny, and I just really like kind of all the corresponding artworks. So these ones I will be kind of specifically trading for. So and the psychic cube being the one that I have actually the reverse holofoil of. So that will be those will be coming in soon. I did recently pick up a warp energy, so that was kind of nice. Then this series does have some like three different secret rares. Secret rares, like while they're pretty common, blah, 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 they're a lot more common nowadays. Like to the point where if you look at some of the modern cards and you look at the like complete set list, I would say like half of them are like secret rares, whether that's like the full art, the special illustrated, the all gold, the all rainbow, whatever, whatever. Um, in at least like this, like the very end of Generation 1 going into Generation 2, there were secret rares as well, but definitely not as many. Like maybe one to two, depending on the series. Like even going up, so like I would say like one to three. And for the e-reader cards, the Gen 2 e-reader cards, these were the crystal types. So we have crystal type Kingdra, crystal type Lugia, and crystal type Nidoking. So like Lugia, fan favorite. We're looking into the four figures. So these, like, of course, I would love to have them someday, but I'm not necessarily getting my hopes up for those. All right, so that's Aquapolis. So I have some pretty good cards to kind of chase after. In terms of Skyridge, like I have 7%, and it's of course one of the like rarest series, so it's not really something I am actively chasing. But like would love to pick up any cards that I could pick up. Okay, so now from EX Ruby Sapphire, we're kind of going to go through. I had sort of mentioned I have this. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Pull that back up. We're gonna rotate it. And I'm looking at, I want to look back at the Delcatty. So this is Delcatty 5 out of 109. And the one that I have is reverse holofoil as opposed to regular holofoil. So I am going to put that as well on my list of search cards because I would like to have the holofoil versions. So it's possible that I could find like a damaged copy of the regular holofoil to trade for my heavily played reverse holofoil. So we are trying to swap from reverse holofoil. Excellent. So, okay, moving down from this series, I will be looking for this Swampert. So this holofoil, remember, I have the like World Championship copy, and I would love to get my hands on a regular copy. So that Swampert is up there. I don't know if I necessarily want to like trade it for the World Championship card, but I would like to at least get like a holofoil copy. Scooching down, scooching down. Got my Groviles. I did purchase this Hariyama recently, as well as I believe this Lairon is coming. For the Marsh Stomp, I would like a non holofoil version, that also non holofoil and non world championship. So that'll be like a useful trading strategy. And of course, the other Marsh Stomp. I did pick up a copy of the Silcoon, this Goldeen as well, and this Electrike. Interestingly, it looks like this one doesn't have, in the picture, does not have the e-reader card. I, again, am not really sure why that is. I did purchase this Nummel and this Poochyena recently, as well as this Skitty. And I'll be looking for, I do just love Skitties. I think they're so cute. Then, you know what might be fun to get that I think I do want to chase for is going to be this Switch card. This card art is pretty familiar. It's definitely been reused, but I would like this from the Ruby and Sapphire just because the way that I set up my pages, we have, yeah. So we can see with the Trico evolutions and the trainer card that corresponds to it with the Trico on it. We have the Torchic, and while I do have this really cool energy search card with the fire energy on it, I would also like the Switch card that has the um, that has it on that has the Torchic on it. So let me go ahead and add that too. Oops. There we go. So it's going to be EX Ruby Sapphire, Switch, preferably not holofoil. I guess I'm not that picky. And then I'm looking for Torchic art. Yeah. Now, this one does have some ultra rare cards. We are looking at kind of the beginning of the EX cards. So, any of these Chansey EX, Electabuzz EX, Hitmonchan, Lapras, Magmar, Mewtwo, Scyther, and Sneasel EX cards, would love to get copies of those, as well as fill in some of these missing energies. I would like a copy of Grass Energy, Water Energy, and Electric Energy from this series. And then let me go ahead and update. We no longer have this reverse holofoil. I ended up trading that as part of a trade for with a card shop recently for a Pop Series 8 Probo Pass and a original Gen 1 Team Rocket holofoil Weezing. So we're going to update that. Excellent. Okay, so that's our Ruby Sapphire. And I do have 57% of that series, so we got over half. Not too bad. All right, then from EX Sandstorm, I'll basically just be looking for, of course, any of the holofoil cards. Trading out my reverse holofoil Golduck. Let me add that in as well because we will be looking for EX Sandstorm, Golduck, non-holofoil, 17 out of 100. We're going to like swap from reverse holofoil. Excellent. That's a fun little note. I do have this Shiftry coming. Would love to get this Anorith. And interestingly, I do have like a not exactly a promo card that includes this Delcatty art, but like it was like a special promotional deck that was like instead of it like being like a selection of other cards. It had its own kind of index marker, like its own index of like 12 cards, as well as like a different like icon. So the one that I have is part of like the Minun and Plusle, or like the Latios and Latias like set. So I would like to get that. Laleep would be great. This Vigoroth. I mean, there's just like a bunch of these cards that I would be happy to pick up. Same thing with this Pikachu. This I also have as a copy from like a promo deck, so it doesn't it has the same art but not the same like index number. And then we have the reverse holofoil Skitty that I'd like to kind of trade out. Though, you know what? This one, the artwork is pretty cute on that, so I think I'm actually going to hold off on that one. I was trying to pick up this Trapinch, but people would not play ball with me. Now then we go into the like EXs. Of course, would love to get some of these. Aerodactyl EX, Aggron EX, Gardevoir EX, definitely the Kabutops EX, Raichu EX, Typhlosion EX, and the Wailord EX would be fantastic. All of these would be great. Alright, so now we are going to look at... That was EX Sandstorm. I have 44% of EX Dragons. Now, of course, would love to get any of the holofoils. That would be fantastic. Oh, Rosalia. Love her, and I love her music. You know what? I might actually have this Crawdont coming in as well. Now, scooching down, scooching down. I really like the Mareep line, so anything Mareep Flaffy would be great. Same thing with the Magneton. I do have this as like I do have this as part of like a promo series, but not from EX Dragon, so I would like to get a copy. I purchased this Snorunt card recently off of eBay, and oh my goodness, this Shuppet card is so cute. I feel like this is kind of another case, if we look at kind of just some of the pricing, is just kind of another case of like the court of public opinion. I don't know what it is about this card that necessarily makes it like more expensive per se than like the Shelgon next to it. I don't know why that is exactly. I am just gonna chalk it up to the fact that this artwork is absolutely adorable. Let's see what else. I do like that there are 3 copies of Corpish. Like, I don't know why we needed so many, but I personally love it. Another card that I would really like is, I'm actually going to put this on the list. This is Grimer by Yukamori. And because she is one of my favorite artists, I'm actually going to put that on my list of chase cards for this event. So we got, whoops, Grimer. Doesn't need to be holofoil or anything. I would probably prefer if it wasn't. Let me look. 57 out of 97. And this one is Yukamori, which is why I would like it so bad. Okay. Mudkip. I think I might also have this Numel coming in. That would be great. Here is the third Nincada. So I would like to grab that one too. Spoink! Isn't that just adorable? Then going through, trying to pick up also some trainer cards would be great. Now going on to the EXs, of course, these would be fantastic. We got Ampharos, Dragonite, Golem, Kingdra EX. I actually saw a copy of this Kingdra EX damaged for, I think it was like 30 bucks at a card shop, and we'll see what kind of my options are at this trading event. I do have a couple more reserve cards that I am currently not trading for, but I do really love Kingdra. I think I love water type Pokemon. I love kind of the Seahorse line. I think they're just so great. I might go ahead and trade for one of my reserve cards for that if it's still there. Latios and Latios EX, Macargo EX, Muck EX, Rayquaza EX, and of course, we have three secret rares on this, being Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard. Wow. Also, kind of interesting, I feel like this kind of jump between Charmander, three figures, Charizard, high three figures, Charmeleon, though, doesn't break, not even breaking into three figures, but it is like, I don't know, I think it kind of goes like that when you have that like three tier evolution. I feel like it's like the basic form, people like love it, it's so cute. The final evolution, people go crazy, but like in the middle, people are like, oh, it's kind of like your awkward teenage years. So there's EX Dragon. Now, I do want to bring up the EX Team Aqua versus Team Magma. I am not going for that card series. I do need to update this though, because I did actually pick up both Team Aqua's Cacturn and Team Aqua's Crawdon recently. Now, we're scooching down, scooching down. Here we go. So I lied. There's actually two cards that I am still going for of this that are like e-reader cards. We have this Bulbasaur and this Cubone as part of this like random subset of Team Aqua versus Team Magma cards that are still e-readers. So I would like this Bulbasaur, and I think I need to check to see if I double check to see if I have this Cubone or not, because I that one does look quite familiar. Let me go ahead. I'm going to put it in here anyway, just with a question mark, because I may already have this one. Unsure if already in possession. In collection. Okay. So that's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Very few cards in that set that I'll be looking for this round. But what I do want to go back and look at is some of the Black Star promos, specifically towards the end of the Black Star promo, uh, like of the Wizards of the Coast promos. So of course we have one, two, three, four total. The Celebi, Rapidash, Ho-Oh, and Suicune. Now I only have the Ho-Oh of this like group of four, so definitely something that I'll be looking to, just keeping my eyes peeled, looking to see if I can find, since these I really want to focus on e-reader cards for this trading event. Lastly, we are going to look at some of the Nintendo promos. That's going to be our Black Star promos, Kyogre EX, Groudon EX, Trico, Grovyle, this really cool Mudkip, Torchic, Trico, another Torchic, a Combuskin, another Mudkip, Marshtomp, this Pikachu, a Meowth, the Latios and the Latios that I do have. Now, this Trico Black Star promo that I would like to get the non e-reader. Sorry, I have the non e-reader copy, but I would like to get an e-reader copy. So that's definitely on my spot list. We have that here. So I'm trying to swap to the e-reader. And then for the Nintendo Black Star promos, the e-reader cards go up to index number 20, ending with Ludicolo. We have a lot of the starter Pokemon in this set, so I would like to try and pick up more of those. So, yeah, that is my presentation for you all today. So, just a quick recap. This weekend, I am going to be going to the North Bay Card Show at the Roner Park Hotel, Doubletree Hotel, and I will be looking for I mostly e-reader cards. And here's what I'll be trading. I have uh, like of my like faux slab tradables, I got first edition Bellsprout from Jungle, Friends in Paldea, and Glaceon V Star, as well as just some e-reader bulk. Then the series that I am going to be like looking for specifically is going to be these e-reader sets. We have we have the Expedition, Aquapolis, and Skyridge, as well as EX Ruby Sapphire, EX Sandstorm, and EX Dragon. So we are bringing six and a half sets with us because we're also bringing some Black Star promos, and we will be primarily looking for uh, these cards. So come back, check back. I have another stream on Monday, and we'll be going through what I ended up picking up. So thank you so much, Shenis Nation, for getting ready for this card show with me. I'm really excited to report back with everything that happens. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Hope you